Good morning, everyone. I haven't done a video in a few days. It's 9:30 a.m. in LA. I prefer to do the videos at night just because I'm in more of a trance. However, this message is important and it really struck a chord with me this morning when I woke up. And I am super jazzed to share it with you guys as well because I think it's going to strike a chord with you. So the message I got was, how can you expect to open up your third eye? That amazing crystal technology within you. How can you expect to open it if you are still closing your physical eyes, like the monkey see, the monkey do, like that emoji, if you are still closing your physical eyes to your current reality? How can you expect to activate your pineal gland if you are in a constant mode of avoiding, escaping, or running from your current now? You see, when you do this, and you have that grass is greener on the other side mentality, your ego hijacks your perception of reality. And it begins to manipulate it in such a way where it projects falsehoods into your future. And I'm sure that a lot of you have been there before. You love someone, and you are convinced that they're going to commit to you. And they never do. Why is that? Now, I'm not suggesting that your vision wasn't accurate. However, because you were in a state of disempowerment at the time and you were placing all your eggs in that basket, your ego hijacked your perception. And it fed you a partial lie, meaning that it might not have been a lie had you really stepped into the shoes of empowerment, but because you kept feeding into that disempowerment, you got caught in a fanciful reality. So in order for us to open up the third eye, we have to really start bringing present moment awareness to all things in this current now. I loved the vision just because it was like, yeah, we're constantly closing our physical eyes to what's here. So how can we expect to open up the third eye and receive accurate visions? It's difficult to. This game board that you find yourself standing on is a game board that your higher self designed for you. It knew that through the gathering of hints and clues, like a scavenger hunt, it knew that if you were up for the challenge of embracing and accepting and loving where you are, that you would merge with your higher self, that you would activate your crystalline technology, that you would alchemize the matter and the antimatter, the physical and the non-physical, the electric and the magnetic, the feminine and the masculine. So before we came into this reality, there was a pamphlet and we agreed to it. We signed up for this assignment. And your higher self is rooting for you from bleachers without an ounce of a doubt that you're going to reconnect to your natural state, that crystalline state of DNA. So recognize that every single thing that is a part of your reality at this very moment is a clue, is a hint, that is going to enable you to retrace your footsteps back to the truth of who you are, back to the entirety of who you are. But if we assume a grass is greener mentality all the time, then would it be safe to say that we're not really accepting of what's here? That we haven't fully learned how to extend gratitude, even if you may not like your job, even if you despise your job. There must be a reason why you're there. If you hate being single, there must be a reason why you hate being single. And we have to dig up those treasures. We have to mine. We have to be miners of our soul in order to retrieve that lost knowledge. in order to regain that wisdom that was always in there. It was encoded within your DNA. You came with it. But the thing is, it gets buried under the mud. It gets buried under the soil. It gets tucked away somewhere in your DNA. So there's all these storage banks in your body that have gold in them. Gold. And this gold can really enrich your life to such a point where you're never looking to leave your now moment anymore. Because your third eye is so open that you already know what's coming. There are doorways in your present. There are doorways in the reality that you find yourself in right now that have yet to be unlocked. And once you unlock them through gratitude, through appreciation, through the willingness to solve and work your own puzzle. This is the other vision I got. Every doorway is directly connected to a future event or to future events, to multiple potentials. And once you gain access to what's on the other side of that doorway, then there's no rush, because then you get to play with it. You get to say, okay, I'm seeing a future with my mind's eye right now. Do I want to align with it? I'm seeing a future that in my mind's eye, do I want to choose it? Do I want to create it? There are so many things that you can do once your third eye is open. You can choose a reality. You can create a reality. You can do all these different things. The world is now at your fingertips. The world is at your fingertips because you're not running from anything anymore. When you have access to that multidimensional apparatus, that multidimensional communication system within your body, you are living your future now. I call it cosmic foreplay because you already know what's coming and you're not rushing to get there. Instead, you're birthing more babies, meaning more potentials, because it's fun to do so. You're constantly popping things out of your God source factory throughout the day because you're already in control of your reality. You're in charge of your emotions. That's why it's essential that we really master our emotional structure. Because most of the time, the ego, which is connected to your emotionality, you'll have a thought, that thought will trigger an emotion, and then you'll get all bent out of shape trying to get to the next place. Well, what that is another timeline pulling you out of your now, when in actuality that timeline is only presenting so that you can strengthen your now. Think of how deep that is. We have all these different timelines running, you guys. And if we are not in charge of our mind, if we haven't learned how to master our reality, then those timelines are going to toss you around like a salad. And that's a download I got years ago. You're just going to get tossed around because all these different energies, all these different entities are messing with your mind, but they're not really doing it. They are, but they're not. They're teaching you how to fortify yourself from within. Now, once you learn how to be in charge of your emotions, then you're still going to have weird thoughts. You're still going to have all this timeline information seeping into your mind. The difference now is that you're not going to be impulsed by them. You may not act on them because you understand that your power lies in waiting or magnetizing the reality that is best suited for you. So you're like, cool, I'm seeing that. That's great. You may want to communicate with it for a little bit. You may want to play with it for a little bit. But overall, it's so self-sufficient that you're not lacking for anything. This is coming to me now. If you're always trying to escape your current now, then would it be fair to say that you're still living in a state of lack? Yes, because you feel like there's something missing, that someone's going to save you, and it's going to make all your troubles go away. That this other job is going to be a lot better. You know, I learned years ago that if you're able to leave a situation with dignity, if you're able to exit a job with gratitude, even though you didn't like that job, people can sense that energy that you're transmitting. They can sense, wow, this person is very well balanced. They didn't speak ill of the job that they were at, of the boss that they had. They didn't speak ill of the city that they used to live in that they didn't like. That's because they completed their lessons. And when you complete a lesson, you can walk out of a situation with maturity. I've met so many people in my life that are like, oh, I left LA because it was horrible. Or I left New York because it was horrible. Nope. 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 We can read that energy. There was something that was unfinished. And you can still finish it wherever you are now. That's what's wonderful about this universe. It gives you tons of options as to what you can do. But let's not forget that we're here for our personal evolution. That everything that's outside of us, it's just material. There's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger understanding that we came to reclaim and regain. We know this stuff. We know all of it. But somewhere along the lines of time, we got dislocated from that truth. And now we have to pop it back in. So that's my message today, is if you wish to open up your third eye, don't be afraid to look at your reality. Rather than take your eyes off of it and look for something outside of your current circumstances that's going to be your quote-unquote solution. Because honestly, it doesn't really work that way. And I know some of you may be at jobs that you hate. I've been there before. I drove an 85-year-old man for a long time. But it was the best lesson ever. I was making $100 a week at the time. And I did this for 7 years. But in many respects, I was already this spiritual guide. And I decided, all right, let me bring that timeline in to what I'm doing with this guy now, with this man, and make him feel acknowledged. Let me serve him. Let me not be in a rush to go back home. Let me make him feel like the most special person on this planet. Let me train my ear to listen and hold a space. There are ways to effectively work with your future timelines by bringing them into this now moment so that you can merge into that timeline or have it merge with you. This is all a game of alchemy. We are alchemists. And what's really crazy, what's really ironic about the whole thing is when I learned how to love where I was with this older man that I was driving around, I stopped trying to get to this other thing, that was my spiritual practice, because I became it. I became it. So at that point, my guide showed me, you're going to be an energy reader. You're going to be a spiritual teacher. It's happened because you were accepting of where you are now. And by virtue of doing so, we are going to grant you all of your wishes. Because we now know that you have the wherewithal to assist humanity in raising its vibration. But in the beginning, I was very impatient. I couldn't wait to get home. I was like, ugh. That impatience would have bled through into my practice now, had I not nipped it. So remember, everything that has been dealt, Every card that you are holding in your hands right now that pertains to your reality, to your experience, to everything that is in a part of your now, are things that need to be tended to so that you can pivot yourself into this higher dimensional being, into your fifth dimensional identity. When you do this, there's a meld that takes place. There's a meld. And you're bridging all these timelines. And now you hold the deck of cards, you hold the power, and you can choose what's next. You can create what's next. Because your third eye is that doorway that opens. It's like a keyhole, and then you can see into the keyhole. But really it's like a doorway, because it's both. It's like seeing into a keyhole at all the different possibilities. Door 1, door 2, door 3, door 4. And you can even open those too. Once your third eye is activated, there is no limit to what you can achieve. It becomes this crystalline magnetic technology that can pull anything that you wish to experience that would be to your liking. It will pull in the energetic, meaning the frequency, and that frequency will manifest in physical form because we magnetize the likeness of what we are, the likeness of the frequencies that we are working with. So I hope this message helped you guys. Open your third eye by appreciating where you are now, by placing your physical eyes on your situation, and then finding the hints, the clues that are going to lead you to that truth of who you are. I hope this helped. Thank you for subscribing. There's a button right there. Thank you for sharing, for commenting. Thank you for everything. And I love you guys, and I will see you soon.